Hello there, welcome again. And today I figured I must talk about this film. I'll sing it to help you out. I don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery. And that's all I'm going to do on that one. Saw it last night and I actually like it. As we all know, Pet Cemetery was taken off a Stephen King novel. And I'm on about the original, not the sequel, not the shitty remake, the original classic 1989 Pet Cemetery. Where can I go from it? Now I always remember the trailer using a bit of the music from Annabelle. Remember Annabelle of Horror? So they use a bit of that music, and it's not a bad one. It's not a bad one. But the only thing with Pet Cemetery is I've got to be open. I've got to be honest. It's not a film I can put on at any time. Oh, I fancy watching Pet Cemetery because it is a very depressing, dark, grim film. I can't lie, it is. So you start off its own bit of childlike music and it's all the cemetery itself. Then you get a family what move into the place where the cemetery is. You do get to meet Hermit Monster from the TV series. They did make a film of it actually. From the classic TV series Monsters. Remember Monsters? It's the Monsters, Frankenstein monster. So you get to see the actor, may he rest in peace. Started off with a friendly, eccentric old guy and he's showing them all this. Now, the dad, you get the idea he's a veterinarian. Bit weird for me, but he's a vet. And what happens is this guy has an accident, spits half his head open, he's bleeding to death. He tries to save him, he can't, and he dies. But before he dies, there's a good bit of horror moment where he gets up and he warns him about the cemetery. Long but old, the old guy, I told him the old guy, or Hermit the Monster, souls from the cemeteries of pets, and so on. They've got a little door in it, and I always find it weird. The little door sort of senses things before they happen, a bit like a psychic. And I do know originally that was going to be the idea for Pet Cemetery 2. And my issue there is, why did they not stick with that story? Why did they not stick with that bladding story? But they didn't. So she has a little chat, a meow meow, and it dies. There's a bit in before that where he's going to take it to the vets, to get his nuts cut off. And you might remember the wife in it. If you think of the during Star Trek The Next Generation, she plays the wife of the die. And he sort of has a go at her, so you shouldn't really promise you to do that about, it might pull over and be okay. Because actually, you have an operation, sometimes it's not okay. But the chap dies and he feels bad, the dad. So Hermit the Monster takes him over to the burial ground and says, this used to be an Indian burial ground. Toss the pet cemetery. Buries the chap, comes back. This is it. When anything what's dead comes back, it comes back evil or psychotic. So the chap basically is a vicious fucker. It starts to see him. He's definitely got the idea it don't like him. They're having a party. And they're having a picnic, to cut the story short, and they've got a little toddler in it. And this is why it's one of them films I have problems watching it. It's not a film I can watch at any time when I fancy a good horror. Because the little toddler's playing, like toddlers do. And I do know originally this was inspired by Stephen King for where he used to live. When he had his little boy, he had a fear over his little lad running across the road and getting hit by a truck. Because where Stephen King used to live, they used to have a lot of truck drivers driving like fucking maniacs. And that's what happens in the film. The little toddler wanders on the road like toddlers do, and a fucking big dock-off truck tries to toss. The father's trying to get to him. He falls, he's out on the floor, but you don't see it. And that's what I like about the film. It's professionally fucking done. Unlike this fucking remake, and like fucking other films of the day where they're going to shove it in your face. It's professionally done. And I know it was done by a female director who was well known for doing rock videos. So this was different for another film by a woman, not sexist, but someone who just rock videos. I dilute it for that. But again, you got the idea the truck has killed the kid. You've got the father going, no! So I'm doing a shit job. But the way he does it, the performance, there's all photographs of the toddler. You got the idea it's not a happy ending for the little baby boy. It hits you like a truck. You, the audience, feel like you have been hit by that truck. You feel for him. You feel for the family. It's heartbreaking. It's sad. That's why it's not one of them films I can just stick on at any time and if I fancy watching a horror film. Of any horror film I watch, it'll probably be Servant and the Rainbow, Nightmare on Elm Street, and any other horror more than Pet Sematary because it's me like a tuck. Believe me, I'm an hard man. Nothing makes me cry. But what's in that scene? The Amit fucking waterfalls. They're having the funeral. The father's really upset. They've got the uncle, well, not the uncle, the wife's father who's a bit of a fucking dick. He hits him and has to go at him. But you find out halfway through the film that his wife had a sister, right? And she was badly deformed. She had some sort of something wrong with her bones. Which I know originally real life, it was a male actor playing the sister, bit of makeup and everything. And you've got the idea she died, right? As she's doing the story. So it definitely makes you hate the wife's dad. Hermit the Monster talks him out of this because he wants to basically dig up his boy and bury him on the pet cemetery. You know, his chiefing and all that. And he does it. He actually digs his little boy up, buries him in the pet cemetery. Long behold, he comes back as a little fucking psycho. Kills Hermit the Monster, but he does do some death. And the mum comes into it. She gets killed, and cut the story short, the lad had his head cut open and warned him. You do see bits in it where he comes into it as a ghost, which I know was influenced from American Werewolf in London. Remember David Tedler's mate? He also saw him as a ghost. Oh, fucking horrible. That was sort of inspired him to use that idea. And I do know Stephen King does make a test appearance in it. There's a bit in it halfway through the film where a woman commits suicide and they're having a funeral rake. Died doing the finger. Stephen King himself makes a test appearance. So, like I say, the husband's wife gets killed off steam. And it's sort of a sad scene, this, because he's got to kill the boy again. He has like a poison. I'm assuming it's cyanide or something. Kills that chap, what he brought back from the dead. Kills his son, which is a very heartbreaking scene. It just all flashbacks again of the tuck. Again, professionally done, not in your face. And finds his wife dead, burns the house down, and you think it's going to be a happy ending, but what does he do? What does the fucking dickhead do? Gets his dead wife, say, oh, I've got her early this time, I can save her. You got that ghost warning him, no, don't do it. But he doesn't listen because he's daft. Okay, he's cheating, so I'm being a bit unreasonable there. But then you've got the ghost of the wife comes back. Well, not the ghost, you know, she's all cut up and everything, really messy, but he kisses her. She gets a knife. You got the idea she stabs him, but it's off steam. You hear a bit of steaming. End of movie. Now, it's a hard film to watch, but the only bit what pisses me off is the song. The song I just sang at the beginning, which was done by a well-known rock band. You got a really, really sad, really dark, depressing ending, right? And what fucking winds me up is you got, I don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery. Right at the fucking end. Right at the end, a really dramatic scene. The guy lost his son. Uses his fucking wife. Bolts up his house. Well, yeah, no, sorry, the Hermit the Monster's house, right? Does all that, right? Really sad, really depressing. You think he's going to get the love of his life. She turns into a fucking roach. It looks fucking horrible. It's cut up. But alright, he's cheating. Gets killed off steam, I'm assuming. Does to have the most dummest ending ever. I don't want to be buried by a pet cemetery. But apart from that, it's not a bad film. It's a dud film. It's incompetent. It's dud. It's professional. And it's done again by the novel of Stephen King. Again, a woman directed it. The second one, it's there, but it's not a rant, but it's there. The remake, piece of fucking dog shit. But the original one, it's a competent film, but it's not one I could watch again and again and again. You know, the fact it's downbeat. It's downbeat to see a toddler. You don't see it, it's professionally done. But it's downbeat knowing a toddler got killed. And it's downbeat knowing the wife got killed. And it's fucking downbeat knowing the guy you got to like is a vegetarian, not a vegetarian, the one that works as a vet. He gets fucking killed off steam. So, apart from that, though, it's not a bad one. It's a good hour off your time, but it's not one I'd watch again and again and again and again. But I don't hate it. It's not a bad film. That being Stephen King's classic, My Pet Cemetery. Into then, be smart, be safe, and I'll see you later.